Good morning, Ingrid.
Good morning, Lori. Hey, Lori, have you spent time with Dr. Tarsum on the call with us?
No, I have not.
Ah. Tarsum, Lori used to be our membership chair before Kurt was. You guys should spend some time together.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I wonder if Wolf hears us yet. Well, the room looks different.
Good morning, Ingrid and Lori and everyone.
Cindy, we've just been making nice comments
Morning.
about your cute granddaughter.
It's adorable.
Oh, yeah, she's like 3 now. I guess I better change that.
Oh, no, it looks great. Leave it.
That one is a lovely picture.
Thanks.
Well, Cindy, I've been at home with COVID all week. How about you?
Oh,
Oh, have you really? Oh,
Morning, everyone. If you can take your seats, we'll get the meeting started.
I had it last year about this time because I had it during the Irish Fest. I'm okay. I'm just a little under, so I decided I just would do a Zoom today.
Good morning.
I hope you feel better. Are you okay, Ingrid?
I am.
Okay.
We'll start with our invocation. Yeah.
Bow our heads. Father, as we go through a season of change, graduations, retirements, new positions, we ask for your help in recognizing that change can be good and often helpful. We ask for strength and courage to help us deal with change and to let us continue to help others as we go through changes. Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning again and welcome. We're going to start with announcements. Anyone have any announcements? Dave.
Good morning, Rotary. Just want to let everybody know we have signups online that are available now for the Dublin Irish Festival. As of this morning, we have about half the slots that we need filled. So if you are available on August 2nd, 3rd, or 4th to work for the Rotary Club, take a look at the slots that are available and sign up there if you would. If you think you want to bring a neighbor or somebody that can help along, introduce them as a guest of Rotary, it's a good time to try. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you.
See me or go online and sign up.
Anyone else? Barb?
So Bounty at Ridge Park is currently sold out. The Rotary is purchasing 2 tables, right? Claudia's getting people signed up. So I know you have enough for 2 tables, so yay, Claudia will figure that out and let everybody know. We have 371 people currently, so we're just like calling it. But we'll have a waiting list too, so in case people, and it's 2 months out from Bounty, yay. So another sign up opportunity, we're not signing up yet because, Irish Festival signups are going on. But we have an opportunity in August on a Saturday to do date checking of all the food that comes in for Irish Festival. So on Sunday mornings of Irish Festival, people bring in food or monetary donations and they get in free for the 2 hours on Sunday morning. So we last year, I don't know, over the years, we collected like 20,000 pounds of food. All that has to be date checked. So it's going to go back to FST Logistics, right, Jim Wilson? Yeah, about half of it will go back there, but it all has to be date checked at some point. So we're deciding on a Saturday, maybe August 24th, I think, a Saturday morning, to have Rotary members come, and we'll have something, well, set up with tables, and it'll be easy, but it's just a chance to stand there with your friends and get your glasses out and look for changes.
Half of it goes back to where, I'm sorry.
Oh,
FST Logistics.
FST Logistics, because we don't have enough storage at the pantry.
Oh,
for
okay,
20,000 more
okay,
pounds of
okay.
food.
I didn't.
So on that Sunday morning of Irish Festival, U-Hauls and trucks will take it directly to FST Logistics. And then it'll be coming back to the pantry gradually.
Wow, that's great. Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Barb. Any other announcements, Lou?
Yes, the classic car show coming up September 1st. Still have some spots open on the volunteer list here, so I can pass this around. I want to thank everybody who did sign up. I mean, we've got a nice group here already, but if you are interested, take a look at what's available on the sheet and sign up.
Hey Lou, I found that a lot of customers that I have are car aficionados, right? So I've been saying, hey, do you know about the car show in Dublin? And they're like, I don't know. So make sure that any of your friends that love cars or have cars that they want to show, to tell them about it, because I think the word's getting around, but not everybody knows about it. So I think I've got about 3 people that are bringing cars to the field.
You got close to use put on the arthritis show is this weekend.
Yes.
That's a real big one, you know, you get like 1,000 cars and stuff like that. But then if you do, you know, if you want to pass the information around, tell them DublinCarshow.com. Very simple. You sign up there. That's all the information on the event. Okay. Oh.
Any other announcements? Okay, Susan? Oh. Yeah, I have 2 announcements, so, yeah. So we'll do Happy Bucks. So each year the district sets a goal for the Polio Plus campaign. For Rotary year 2024, the goal was $250,000. I'm happy to report that the district exceeded its goal by $10,000. So they raised $260,000 in the district. What's most significant about that, in addition to it's a district achievement, is that the Gates Foundation doubles that. So essentially, we're able to contribute $780,000 to the Polio Plus campaign. But there's much more work to be done. So watch the August newsletter for an update on the plans for the district and the plans for our club. The other announcement to make is we did a service project for the city of Dublin. And we got a thank you from Kristin Easterday for that. So several members of our club, as well as several members of the Interact Club, helped with that. So that was a great achievement on that part. The actual results of that work will manifest itself starting July 22nd as they smooth out the bumps in the bike paths that were identified. So
I can attest that they've already started.
oh, have they? Okay.
They fixed some spots around our house.
Okay, great. Happy Bucks.
I have a happy buck. One of my coworkers from Toledo has retired and moved to Dublin. So I'm very excited that she's coming down here. She's a private banker. So this might be a fine, but it's a happy buck because she's here. But she doesn't have her part-time job. She's been retired for a couple months and realizes that she'd like to do something kind of fun. So if anybody knows somebody who could use a wonderful retired private banker to do, you know, part-time work, administrative, whatever, let me know. No, I'm really excited she's here. The only problem is she doesn't want to get up at 7:30 on Fridays because, you know, she's retired now. So she doesn't want to come here for these meetings. But I'm gonna get her to a couple of social events. So her name's Mickey Coopers.
Thank you. Any other Happy Bucks?
I've got one. My son, our son, JJ, was just recently promoted to the survivorship program. at Newport Children's. He was diagnosed in November of 2016 with a rare form of leukemia. He went through 3.5 years of treatment, rang the bell in March of 2020, and then now he's graduated into the survivorship program. So we often signed up for the Pellet tournament, and I'm aware of that. We're doing a Pellet tournament, so we might be hitting up people for funding.
Nobody's funding for that.
Susanna?
Mini forest retreat at my Moncrief space. And yesterday, people asked, did you create that Zen space? I said, no, the house was built in 1988. I just rediscovered it. It's truly like a Zen place and with a creek in front of it. So if you are interested, let me know. It's 1 to 4 o'clock. It's a lady, a lovely lady, Patty Ogley. She did the effort 3 hours. And she sings, she writes poems, and she do canvas, so amazing.
Anyone else? I do have one for me. So I was, believe it or not, I'm a runner. I will call myself a runner at least. And I was running the other day, and this older man rolled down his window, and I thought he started slowing down. I thought, well, what's going on here? And wasn't sure who it was, and it was Calvin. So yeah.
I was rash, but you're
Yeah.
focused, so I just got it right.
The beer bottle missed me, but yeah. But the real happy buck is that I signed up for the Columbus Half Marathon. So all right, and our sergeant today, Jeff.
One more, please. Good morning, everyone. No, I talk loud enough. I get accused of that in my office all the time, so it's okay. Hope everyone's doing well this morning. Got a couple guests here today. Bruce, you have, or excuse me, Barb, Barb Anderson has a guest. Would you like to introduce?
Yes, Jim Wilson, who's the operations director at the Dublin Food Pantry. So we're really glad that Jim is here. He's going to be inducted soon, I think.
Great. Welcome. Thank you. Rich is still out doing accounting, but Mike Jewell, you are here. All right. Welcome. Thanks for coming. And Michael Darling, you have a guest today?
Barbara Ray, she's a wildlife specialist for the city of Dublin, and she is also in charge of the river cleanup.
Perfect. Thank you. Welcome. Oh, hell, Rich, I thought you were still out there. I'm sorry. I didn't see you sneak in. I was going to have you introduce your guest. I don't know. So the fact that we have a person with the airport authority coming today, kind of reminded me of a story about was that discount air? Was it Skybus, C-Bus? What was that? Skybus, so I'd go to Skybus and say, okay, I'm going up to Bellingham, Washington, which I had visited a couple times, and I went up to the counter and she said, where are you going? Bellingham, because you pay and do everything right there at once. And she goes, you have any bags to check? I said, yeah, I've had 2. And she goes, okay. And I said, but I want you to do me a favor. Can you take those bags and go and before you give them to me, could you take them to Baltimore, Miami, Texas, and then give them to me 2 days later at Bellingham? And she goes, oh, Mr. Shaner, I can't do that. I said, well, you did it last month. Anyway, with that, my find today is going to be anybody that has ever had luggage lost with an airline. Can you raise your hand? Me too.
Jeff, I'll pay up
That's
next
$1
week.
for all of us. Okay. All right.
So in order to get to our speaker, which I think is going to be very interesting today, I'm just going to go right to the pot. And small pot today is $21. And Jean, since you're standing right here, you just want to reach in and grab that for me, please. Okay.
Fast forward 9243. Nine, 2, 4, 3.
Seriously. All right. 9243.
2 weeks in a row.
I know. All right. Rich, you want the big pot or the cash?
I'll draw for the big one.
All right, that's cool. Good. All right, this is for the small pot.
Okay. 9128.
Not the right number.
Perfect. All right, here we go. I'll throw that away. Good. I'll come around, just lay it on the table. I'll come around and get those. Thank you guys very much. Have a great weekend.
Thank you, Jeff. And I owe a buck for a fine because I did forget one item. So we do have 2 truths and a lie today. So Barb and Susanna.
I gotta pull it up on my, okay.
Okay.
Okay, so this is this little game. We've only played it once, I think, so far, but hey, this is the second version. So I'm gonna read 2 truths and a lie about Susanna, and then she's gonna do the same thing with me. All right, so here are, in random order, 2 truths and a lie about Susanna. Susanna was the Pace Setter Award winner, the top 10%, at the Ohio State University Fisher College of Business. That's one truth or lie. Susanna's daughter Katie plays cello at Ohio Youth Orchestra. Or Susanna grew up in an ancient city where most of the best poets lived. So you get to guess which is a lie and which is the truth.
First one.
What was the first one? The Pace Setter Award winner, OSU. You think that's what, a lie or a truth?
I think she went somewhere else.
Any other guesses? You are wrong.
Oh.
And you can tell us then, which is the,
Yeah, I graduated from ICU Fisher.
so that's a truth.
Oh, what's the lie? That's a truth.
Yes, but what's the lie?
The lie is my daughter not play cello. She play at Ohio Youth Orchestra, but it's the biggest one, the bass.
They,
And hierarchy taller than.
yeah, she's the tall and the baby.
I won't.
Again, I'm going
Can
to
we
read.
minimize this?
Yes.
Bob met her husband behind the Dairy Queen in Knoxville,
Oh, thank you.
Ohio.
Nelsonville, Ohio.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
Knoxville.
can't completely get rid of it.
Then,
Awesome.
Bob's son Ruan worked for Home Depot Corporate in Atlanta, Georgia. So that's the second one. And third one is Bob grew up in a small southwest Ohio town called Long Bottom.
Oh, what? That's a
Long
showstopper.
Bottom.
Oh,
Which one is the lie? 2 truths, 1 lie.
yeah, one line.
Home Depot. Home Depot.
Home Depot.
Home Depot. Yeah, you want to, yeah.
So I think somebody was right. So the truth is, I did grow up in Long Bottom, Ohio. That is a name of a real town. It's on the map. It's in Meigs County, Southeast Ohio, poverty-stricken area. It's just kind of sad, basically. But anyway, it was a good place to grow up. So Long Bottom, Ohio, and yes, my husband and I kind of met or had our first kind of date at the Dairy Queen in Nelsonville, Ohio. Yes. But the lie is, my son does work for a home improvement store, but it's Lowe's, not Home Depot. Works for Lowe's corporate in Mooresville, North Carolina. That's it.
All right, thank you. So it's my pleasure to introduce Kristin Easterday, Director of Communications and Public Affairs for the Columbus Regional Airport Authority. Kristin's going to share the plans and provide an update on CMH Next Planning Terminal. She is the former Vice President of Government Relations for Columbus Chamber of Commerce and has received numerous accolades, including Ohio Aviator of the Year in 2022, a Columbus CEO Magazine Future 50, and Columbus Business First 40 Under 40. Kristin, welcome. Whatever you're comfortable. You find something. Yeah.
Well, pop quiz, I'm not under 40 any longer, but so a few years ago, but it is great to be here and I am so glad to be speaking to you today. I hope this is informal and laid back. I want to tell you all about the terminal project to make sure you feel informed, educated. But if you have any other questions about the airport authority or what we're working on, I would love to take those. So interrupt me. This is for you. That's what our airport is about. Serving you. So who has flown in the past year? Awesome. Almost all of you. Was the airport busy? This calendar year will probably be our busiest year on record. So 2019, right before the pandemic, it was our busiest year. And if I'm a betting woman, and I kind of am, you'll see at the end of the calendar year, we'll be saying it's our busiest year ever. So you're with a lot more folks than you usually are with. And I want to say, we do not take the blame for any of the airline issues and with the baggage. So that is a common issue, but not the airport's fault. So just a little bit about me. I grew up just really close to here off of Smoky Row. So I'm in the area. I went out to DC for a while, did some lobbying work, came back. I've worked for both sides of the political aisle, and I'm normal, I promise. And I've worked for the airport authority for the last 8 years. So it's a great place to work. It is something that serves you, the community. And so that's what we work on every day, is making sure the places you want to go, that's where we are servicing, and we're working with the airlines to make those accommodations. Or like this new terminal, it's going to accommodate the future passenger needs of our region. So that's what today's all about. So I'm just going to get started. The current terminal that we are in was built in 1958. So the first question I get is, why are we building a new terminal? Well, our region is growing, but that's not the number one reason that we're looking at a terminal. It's really a facility issue. Built in 1958 with 3 separate concourses, obviously built pre 9/11, pre-TSA. It doesn't accommodate the needs of everyone today, because you are actually experiencing really what a small airport would be. You go through your single checkpoint and you have a couple different options. You may or may not have a lounge. You may have 3, food options, but you're essentially in a small airport environment. And that makes us very inefficient to operate 3 separate concourses. So in the new terminal, when we talk about having 1 security checkpoint and having everybody have that same experience, your experience with food, retail, concessions, and lounges will be much greater, and it'll be a higher level for a medium growing hub like we are. So first and foremost, many of our assets are at the end of their useful life. We'll be able to become more efficient and modern. And as you know, we are situated currently, the terminal is situated between 2 runways. So it doesn't have the ability to expand outward. So we're very tight. If anyone's flown Southwest, you know that concourse is extremely tight. The hold rooms, and we don't have room to expand that concourse out any longer. So we don't want to limit air service growth for our community. So that's another part of it. The new location will allow us to continue to grow as our community grows. So what I also like to share is, even though we're here in Central Ohio, we serve a much larger swath of Ohio than just Franklin County and Union County and a couple others. We actually serve as the primary airport for 33 counties, so going all the way down past Ohio University. And actually we serve for 2 counties in West Virginia as their primary airport as well. So we're really serving a lot of folks, about 1/3 of the state of Ohio. And so as we have developed these plans over the years, and I will say, Even though we're starting to talk about a terminal, this is something that our team has been working and planning, planning for with the FAA for over a decade. We've actually already spent about $400 million in enabling projects. So if you remember back when they adjusted the 670 interchange, that was part of that to make room for the location of where this is going to go. When we moved one of the runways out about 700 feet, again, it was to create more space for where the new terminal will be located. We relocated the car rental facility. So lots of work has been done already in advance to get us to where we are today. But for the shorter time period, I just wanted to kind of run through with you. We have been saving diligently for about the past 6 years, and we've got about $240 million saved to put towards this new terminal in cash. So what we are working on right now is design, and you may have seen that we hired Gensler, which is an international company, #1 for designing terminals across the nation. And they're partnered with Moody Nolan, who's in our backyard, the largest African-American design firm in the United States. And then we hired about 2 years ago now, Hensel Phelps to be our construction manager at risk. Again, they are the top terminal construction management team in the nation and have been for 8 years running. And then last but not least, we brought on a local company. We kind of put this project to the side, our parking garage, which will be part of the new terminal project connected to the new terminal. We put that a little separate so that hopefully we could get a local contractor, and we were lucky enough that CK Construction from Westerville was able to bid on that, and they put in the best bid. So we've got what I'm telling you about these folks is we're not doing this alone. We have brought the best and the brightest to help us build this terminal for the future. And so we expect a groundbreaking January of 2025. So that is right around the corner. We'll be constructing it then over the next couple of years, and then we will be in it in 2029. And that'll be our 100th year anniversary for the airport, which is really exciting. So I'm going to pause. Any questions yet? Yeah.
To benchmark the project when it's completed, what would you compare it to for some other terminals in the country? I mean, something that, sort of an aspiring image or something.
So if my designers were here, and they are very verbose, and that they will tell you about the way it was designed is about bringing the confluence of the Olentangy together with it is very complicated. They will tell you this is not designed after any terminal in the world. They wanted this to be unique. But what I will say, is there's a couple of things. So one of the newest terminals in the United States is from Kansas City. And if you're familiar, that terminal was incredibly unique, where literally every single airline gate had its own checkpoint. So it was very inefficient, outdated. They are probably about the same size. I think they have 40 gates. We're planning for 36. They have a slightly larger capacity than ours, but it's about 1 million square feet, give or take, and that's what ours will be. So they're a similar size as it relates to air travel. So I would think it'd be similar to them. But one of the unique features of ours is that there will be a unique, and I'll show you a rendering here in a few minutes, almost like a marketplace. So as soon as you go through the security checkpoint, and there are other airports that have like a central marketplace with, pop-up shops, but the way that ours will be configured will really make it, it will really make it the feature. There'll be a skylight. There will be plenty of glass along the runway. You'll be able to see a view of downtown, and it really will be where everybody will gather. And you'll be able to see, with the way that they've designed it, about half of the gates from that central place. So it'll make people feel relaxed. They can chill before their flight and still see what's going on at their gate. So that will be a unique feature. Yeah.
Before we get to the hamburgers and french fries for the conversation, you said 36 gates. How many gates are there now?
Great question.
And when we do 36, is there room for more?
Yeah. So I'm going to jump ahead a little bit, and then I'll jump back, because that's a great question. So there's two pieces when you think about capacity of an airport, and it's not just gates. So let me just preface that. It's really about efficiency and the capacity of the building for total passengers, because airlines are running, there's a lot, with some of the issues this morning, some of them are not running, but you know, we have a peak period throughout the day. And so there's a lot that depart in the morning, then you'll have a little bit of a lull in the way that our airport is designed. Then we have a lot of people coming back in the evening. So from a capacity standpoint, we will be able to accommodate 13 million annual passengers in this new facility. Today, our record-breaking year, we had 8.6. So it's about a 50% increase, a little over 50%. But from a gate standpoint, we are moving from 29, I like to call them constrained gates, where some of them actually only have the ability to accommodate the smaller regional jets, as opposed to what we are seeing with the trend of more of the larger jets. So in the new terminal, every single gate will be able to accommodate the larger jets. And we will have 2 that will specifically be accommodating international travel, one of those 2 being available for wide bodies. So I'm going to go back just a little bit about the planning part, because I want to get into the good stuff really around what it'll look and feel like and what the capacity will be. As an organization, we are a governmental authority, independent, we are a port authority, but we wanted to make sure that as we design the terminal, it is really designed for and by the people that it's going to be serving. So we made a couple of commitments up front around the project, and our board put this together with the guidance of our president and CEO. We wanted to make sure that 25% of it, from a goal standpoint, was from participating diverse businesses. So that includes small, local, minority, veteran-owned firms. And so far, we are tracking with our 3rd bid package of approximately 8 that we plan to put out for construction work. We're tracking about 30%. So we're a little ahead of our goal, and we plan to see that move as more bid packages go out. But we feel like we are committed and we are executing on that goal. The number 2 is we wanted to make sure that people who were working on that project were paid appropriate wages for their work. So we did say that anybody working on the project, whether it's directly through the construction manager or any sub of a sub of a sub, everybody had to be paid base wage and fringes in accordance with prevailing wage. This is the first time I'm showing this map, so I'm going to come around and just kind of narrate it for you a little bit. This is what it will look like in 2029. So as you come in off of 670 International, come in on an international gateway, right now we are expanding the red lot and the green lot, because where the new terminal will be located is right where the blue lot is. So right after Thanksgiving timeframe, approximately, the blue lot will be shut down. The current cell phone lot will be shut down. We'll have a new temporary phone lot. Cell phone lot, and then this is where the new terminal will be built, where the blue lot is. And just to orient you, here's the air traffic control tower. McDonald's just went away. It's going to be located where our new parking garage is, about 5,000 plus parking spaces. The new terminal will be connected, so no more walking across multiple lanes of traffic. You will be protected as a passenger from all the traffic. There will be a bridge that will connect you to the new transportation center. So think of Ubers and Lyfts that may be needing to pick you up or a guest. You'll also have direct access to the new rental car center that was built about 2 years ago, and then the new parking garage. We'll have an off-site public safety facility, and then if we need additional parking, we will keep the current parking garage available, and it would become a shuttle garage.
What happens to the old terminal?
So it will be demolished. And what it will become is overnight parking for aircraft. And that is a competitive advantage because, again, like I said, being an origin and destination airport, we have so many flights that take off in that early morning. So any of the airlines will be able to park their aircraft over at that spot and just pull them over one after another to their gate. Makes it efficient from a gate standpoint. So they don't have to lease as many gates from us and they can keep those planes rolling.
So all the 36 gates are in that little piece on the bottom of the illustration?
Yes, all around here.
So
it looks small. It's over 9 square feet.
I fly Delta a fair amount and go out of gate 56 almost all the time. I'm trying to understand the numbering system, if there's only
If they're going, yeah.
Just random, they pick numbers to give a, I mean, dumb question, but.
You know what? That is a good question, and I don't know.
I always assumed somebody wanted us to seem bigger, so they gave us bigger numbers. Got a longer walk.
Maybe. That's a good question. I'll find that one out.
I'm just curious of this design. So I just flew out of Charlotte Wednesday, but they had to shut the airport for a storm. And then we got on the plane, but part of the delay for like 4 hours was they had planes that couldn't get out of the gate because planes were behind them, kind of was no place to go to take off. So we were waiting for like 25 airplanes to get in the air. So we saw our gate, which was kind of open, but they couldn't really get there for a while. So I just was wondering if this design allows for, I mean, weather's weather, but about moving planes, you know, so they're not blocking each other, but maybe that's just not possible at the airport.
Well, so I'm gonna tell you something, I'm gonna get to your question, but I'm gonna share a little bit about this design. Because the original thought from the designer was that we would, for an efficiency standpoint from the aircraft, that we would have basically, almost like a thin hallway kind of concourse, and then it would be, all the planes would be out here. Because from their standpoint, that would make the movement of the aircraft much more efficient for them. And they could kind of navigate better. From a passenger standpoint, I don't love that. You have more walking for no reason. This design is really all about bringing it closer to that security checkpoint. So actually the walking distances in this as compared to our current terminal will be the same or less. It will not be any more than what we experience today. So there's always this push and pull as we're designing it with the airlines of how do we create that efficiency. I would have to gather from the issues that they were having with the weather, it was just a major backup. But having 2 runways, so 2 parallel runways, and having plenty of taxiway space, and then having aircraft parking overnight, I think we would have enough space if there was a major surge. But I guess you just never know. We do have plans upon plans if there are issues and like a ground stop and you have more planes than you need, which happened this morning. But I can't tell you exactly like the capacity.
The question, I think, following Bruce's question, is there room for expansion in the future of that?
Yes, and that's really key, because from our forecast with, again, our experts, as well as we work with economic developers locally and things like that, we believe that we are gonna have plenty of capacity for at least the next 2+ decades. But if we needed space to continue to grow, this is not as great of a picture as the other one, but it starts to get into the renderings. You saw that this one part of the building concourse is shorter than the other one. And that is because right here is lane aviation. And so to move them would be a lot of money, over $250 million in today's dollars. So that is why we designed it to cut off right here. And if we need in the future to expand this concourse out, that is where we would expand. And we would relocate them to another part of the airfield. So we do have that capacity. So plenty of space if we need to grow in the future, which at some point we probably will. It'll just be monitoring, does that time frame move faster than we had anticipated or not?
So lane aviation stays.
Yes.
Can I have a question? Are there gonna be any of those walking, you know, like in a lot of airports where you stand on and it.
Moving walkways.
Yeah, walkways.
So because they designed it to not be longer than what we have today, not have longer walking distances, there are no planned moving walkways. No. And actually, they usually end up being more of a risk for passengers. People get hurt on them from an insurance standpoint, from a maintenance standpoint, there are lots of issues. So that's one of the reasons, again, that we try to make do without moving walkways, because we want it to be walkable. And the entire concourse, there's no empty hallways that you'll be walking in. Everything is utilized to be efficient for the passengers' need. Great questions.
if you look down the road, you know, because we seem to, there's certain factions who want, you know, that Columbus to have some light rail of the things. Is it being built so that you can plug and play a transportation center that doesn't include us driving our own cars out there?
Yes, so if that would happen for some miracle. This is where that new transportation center would be. So again, our public buses will be coming into this space, shuttles to the parking lots as well as hotels. We have right of way reserved, and so at the end of that transportation center is where the light rail would come in, and we do have that space reserved and open should that occur. Yeah.
Christian, what's your relationship with Rickenbacker? Is that considered competition? Do you work together? Is it a?
So the organization that I work for, the Columbus Regional Airport Authority, we actually own, operate, manage both John Glenn Columbus International, Rickenbacker, and Bolton Field. So we're a system of airports. So not OSU, that's under OSU's, Don Scott. But so we see it as, and that actually happened in the community between 2002 and 2003. And if anybody knows the history of that, it was really interesting because they were at the time competing. Because there is a Allegiant down there and there's a 2-gate terminal. And community leaders came together and said, look, we want to be efficient. We're not that large of a community that we can have 2 competing airports. So they ended up putting us under the same system. And so now we still operate that 2-gate terminal, but there is no plans to expand it. Our focus for passenger travel is here. And really Rickenbacker is focused on cargo. And then we also have a pretty large military component down there as well.
What's the usage capacity at Bolton Field? I mean, is that a ongoing daily active?
We do have staff down there. We do, but there is not, like at John Glenn, there is a manned air traffic control tower. There is not one down there, so it is a different type of flying. It is considered a reliever to John Glenn, so that some of that general aviation, if you own a private plane or you're practicing, it can be diverted there so that we can have efficient passenger or commercial traffic here at John Glenn. So it's almost a reliever. I will tell you, I was just talking to a colleague yesterday about it. It is very busy. It is very, very busy. If you've even thought about like NetJets and stuff, they're growing. You know, COVID actually helped them. People with money want to fly privately. And so GA is growing and all of our hangar capacity down there is completely full. We have a pretty long wait list.
Do the hotels stay?
Yes.
Are there be more?
We have no plans for more hotels at this time.
Will there be more international or any international flights?
International flights. Okay, I love this question.
Yeah, because there are none right now.
We go to Mexico, so, and we go to Canada. But I think what you're really after is like your translate liner. Like, are we gonna have to go back? And that is something our community has wanted for years and years and years. I'm gonna be Debbie Downer for a second. First of all, a building does not bring us, so whatever we're doing with the terminal, it doesn't give us international traffic, passenger traffic or demand. What does drive that is passenger demand. Airlines are private companies and they want to make money, right? If they can make money, they will be flying a plane to Europe from Columbus. So what that tells you is right now, our passenger demand is not there. So if you look at like what, I know, it is depressing. It's depressing. So Cleveland and Cincinnati both recently got international flights. Do you know why? Because there are over 800 more people per week traveling internationally than from Columbus.
Really?
800 more people a week.
Wow.
So you have to dive into it a little bit, and we've talked with our economic developers, and we are still trying to get those flights, and there are ways that you can do it. So with partnerships from whether it's local governments or economic development agencies, they have the ability to provide a revenue guarantee to the airlines, basically money. So even though the airlines might not be profitable, could we pay them to do that? And so we are trying to see if that could happen. But we don't even have enough passengers that they want to take our money. So still working on it. Are you pulling me off?
Can I take the last question? So what's the importance of the new airport in terms of the region's and Ohio's economic development goals?
So the last question from Jean, and I'll stay around.
Okay.
I'm happy to stay around. I don't want to interrupt your schedule here. What is the importance of the airport from a regional and economic development standpoint? So I will tell you, we did an economic impact study right before the pandemic. And so these are old numbers. But since we are growing again, I would assume that these numbers have grown. We have a 12.9 billion annual economic impact to the community. We support over 48,000 jobs. And that includes all 3 of our airports, as well as we work with a foreign trade zone to support the region. So that's a pretty big piece of the economy. And so if it was not but for the airport, think about travel and tourism, think about business connections, think about even quality of life. We were talking with businesses yesterday at a forum, and even though we might not be flying their airline of choice to LA, all the other flights to Florida, that's where their employees want to fly when they have time to go on vacation. So it's really a quality of life as well. So annual economic impact, we can quantify number of jobs, but really it's about also quality of life.
Thank you so much. And thanks for staying for a few minutes. I know we have a few more questions, but I'm trying to keep us on time. Next week, we have Tammy Noble from the City of Dublin to talk about the community plan. Our closing quote comes from Neil Armstrong, an Ohio native, astronaut, and aeronautical engineer. I believe every human has a finite number of heartbeats. I don't intend to waste any of mine. Thank you.
Thanks, Jean.